Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for the October 9th, 2023 board meeting as presented?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
Director Waller?
Aye.
Okay. The agenda for tonight has been approved. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Education meeting on October 2nd, 2023 as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
Director Waller?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes from the October 2nd, 2023 meeting as presented have been approved. Okay, tonight we have some recognitions, and we're going to switch the order a little bit. Recognize Mike. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to recognize Mike Newton. He has served on the Elizabeth School District with distinction, and he is our Director of Safety and Security here at the school, and he has done a tremendous amount for our district as far as securing our schools. He won a national award because of all of the money that he obtained as far as grants and his ideas and his out-of-the-box thinking for making it work within our schools and making our kids more secure and our teachers more secure. So I would like to recognize Mike, and I believe, Brett, you've got a few words to say?
No.
No, that's
No?
about the student.
Oh, that's
So
about the student.
I do on this one.
I'm
so.
sure you do, though. I'm sure you do.
Brett probably could.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could read the plaque that we are presenting Mike with tonight. It's proudly certify that Mike Newton has served Elizabeth School District with distinction, honor, and dedication, raising the levels of safety and security to new heights and improving the educational environment for every student, teacher, and staff member. And earning the K-12 Campus Safety Director of the Year Award in 2023, Mr. Newton was recognized for attaining hundreds of thousands of dollars in safety grants to improve the district's electronic security systems and other methods of making our buildings physically safer. He also spearheaded improvements in operational relationships with first responders, expanded the presence of SROs and other security personnel in schools, and led countless other initiatives that we continue to keep our schools safe. For all of this work, we are grateful. And so, Mike, if you'd come up, we'd like to present this.
Sure.
And then, of course, you've got to pose for a picture.
Smile and everything.
You handed us take pictures as Mike kissed me. Thank you for that.
Appreciate it.
Mike, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, on spot, no. Honestly, I appreciate everything. I appreciate, what I couldn't have done without the administration of all the schools, specifically, really our elementary, high school, middle schools. Principals really helped carry a lot of this forward. Without them, I wouldn't have had the buy-in and support from all the staff and students in the district. It wasn't just me that accomplished this, it was a district as a whole. So thank you to Elizabeth School District staff, community, and students specifically.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Mike has big shoes to fill. I can tell you that as of about 2 hours ago, we had 40 applicants for Mike's job. I told Mike when he shared that he had this great opportunity that I had no doubt there'd be lots of people wanting to follow in his shoes, because obviously he's done amazing work, and whoever comes in can just maintain and keep this great work that he started. So, Mike, thank you again, and we look forward in the next few weeks of starting to interview candidates, and I know Mike will be very supportive in the transition, so thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Say, well,
We can go ahead and, why don't we just go ahead and announce the student,
Okay.
and then if he gets here, we'll let Brett
Okay.
share a little about him as well. Brett, if you want to come on out.
Sure.
So.
now you get to speak. You had your opportunity. You could have spoken twice.
Well, yeah, we wanted to recognize Joey McCunan. Joey is actually almost a year ago to the day he took the PSAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test, and along with 1.3 million other students across the country. And Joey's score put him him in the top 50,000, which makes him what the PSAT and MSQT calls a commended student. So wanted to recognize Joey tonight because of that. That's a pretty hefty weight to pick up when you can be in the top 50,000 of all the juniors across the country. So we're very proud of Joe.
That's right.
Well, Brett, I'll give this to you to share with Joey, and
Okay.
if he happens to walk in, we can pause and bring him up.
That'd be perfect.
All right.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank
I'll
you.
make sure Joey gets this. Thank you all
Thank
very
you,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up, we get to welcome Regina, our principal for Singing Hills Elementary School.
All right.
Tell us about all the wonderful things going on at Singing Hills.
Let me get logged on here.
And thank you for the t-shirts.
You're welcome. I was going to say, I hope you all enjoy the t-shirts. We got them on there, so. It's coming up. So, yes, I'm Regina Montera, I'm principal at Singing Hills Preschool and Elementary. This is my 13th year there, and so I'm the very proud principal there. They're my family, they're my kids. So just to kind of see that, I just wanted to share our mission at Singing Hills is to collaboratively help all children reach their highest potential and become productive members of society. We strive for success for all students, as every school does. So just a little picture of up front. We've kind of trimmed those trees in front, and I'll show a little picture of what we've done there. But a little bit about our school. I'm real proud of our grounds of our school. We have just a great group that keeps everything going and looking great all the time. I want to share about the new staff at Singing Hills. Excuse me. So we have quite a few staff there. I had a lot of turnover in my preschool. Specifically, we lost some people to I lost a couple people to the middle school. People like to follow their children, which I completely understand. My child and children followed me, so I totally get that. But anyway, so we've had some new folks here, but I put little asterisks next to some folks who were in a different position last year, who returned to us either in a new position or a change of status. So, for example, Kelly Lagamasino, last year she was a long-term sub. She had been a preschool teacher prior to that, and now she's in an alternative licensure program. Tiffany Roberts, she is working on her licensure. She's not in a program yet, so she's as a long-term sub. Will Wilson, he actually worked in our Kids Club group, and he graduated from CSU a couple years ago. He's my big kid. I call him. I love him. He's great. And now he's in an alternative licensure program. Wendy Church actually was a parent, and then she subbed for us. She was PTCO president, and now she's working in our preschool. And Erica Madera, she was a special education paraprofessional, and she is now an assistant teacher in preschool. Laura Urano last year was our math interventionist. We had that through ESSER funding. We didn't have that position, so she chose to stay with us as a special education teacher, which was part of her background. And then Tina Farr was a lead preschool teacher, and she's a grandma, and so she thought she was going to be home being grandma. Her daughter had some different plans with that, so now she's a SPED paraprofessional for us. So wonderful people on staff, and getting to add some new ones and getting to keep some others in different positions, and we always love that. Our first day of school, so these are our kids lined up, and in the past, we used to line up in the front of the school. And if you've been to the front of Singing Hills, our drop-off is right there, our parking lot, and it was busy. And so my accountability committee last year suggested we line up in the back of the school for safety reasons. So we did make that change this year. It worked out really well. Our PTCO got a coffee cart and free coffee for all the parents dropping off that morning. So it was wonderful. But we all lined up in the back and came in through the back. So it worked out so nice. So we had a lot of parents there, but a lot of room, and we didn't have the traffic going because there was quite a few of the staff members that would stand in the road as parents were trying to get where they needed to go to make sure nobody got hit. But it's always a fun day, first day of school, lots of smiling faces, and That Kelly, like Messino's in that top picture with flowers, that one of the students gave her, so just kids get excited on that first day. Some new things this year, we're doing CKLA, which we've had as our core reading program, but we added the CKLA skills portion to our school this year. So that was a new learning for us this year. We added iReady Math. We followed along with Running Creek. We've been, working together to make sure that both elementaries are aligned. So when our schools go to our kiddos go to the middle school, they're aligned in the curriculum that they have. And then we're also working on our instructional framework this year. Our continued focus is learning targets. We've been working on learning targets, and we had some extended training this year, which was great, because I think sometimes when you have things for a lot of years, you think, oh, they have it, the teacher's got this. And then you have the training, you're like, oh, thank goodness they came and did the training, because it helps to bring it back to the forefront. We've been working with our MTSS process. Now this is in our 3rd year, and we're still refining it. We want to make sure that we're targeting kids not only that might be struggling, but also those children at the higher end. We want to make sure we keep them going and extending their learning. Our Coyote competencies, that's our graduate profile that we focus on every month. And then of course our student focus of individual needs. And just with that, that's how we use our collaborative Thursdays. We talk about data dialogue with our student focus. We do vertical team planning. We do literacy and math teams, and it's all about discussing student individual needs. Another piece in there that I want to talk about is learning targets, and so this was in the art room. And so she puts her learning targets up of what she's working on. And then you see some depth and complexity cards in there. She talks about those. We've been doing depth and complexity for quite a few years. It's been part of a district initiative that we've been working on, so we do continue the training throughout all of that, so that's why you do see some of those cards there. When I told her I'm going to use it, she goes, oh, you had to pick a day that I didn't have good handwriting. I said, that's okay, we don't care, you just did a great job. Yeah, Ashley Johnson does a great job as our art teacher. We just had our Coyote Competency Award Assembly a couple weeks ago, and the children received their awards for being academically prepared, and so that's all of our little smiling faces. They do such a great job. One of our preschool lead teachers is also an assistant manager at Dairy Queen, and so she gets them, they get their certificate, but then they also get a certificate for a free cone at Dairy Queen. So it's nice to have those connections. Kids love that. So we always make sure to acknowledge what she does for us, and it helps us out. So some of the community events that we have, of course, we had our back to school night, our 5th grade community challenge. Guest speaker, Mr. Gibbs, was at our school. We had a superintendent forum last week, and EHS homecoming last week. Trunk or treats coming up when we return from fall break. We're right in the middle of our Big Kahuna fundraiser. Our Veterans Day Assembly, that's just one of our big ones that we have, and it's different people have helped out through our time there with the American Legion, because we had a connection. It was a husband of one of my preschool teachers who helped out, but this year it's one of our parents, and she works out at Buckley, and I'm excited, so you're all welcome to come to it. I believe it's Friday, November 10th, I believe, is when we're celebrating our assembly. I didn't have the date off the top of my head, but anyway, she's hoping to get from Buckley. We're going to have a speaker from each section of the armed forces come. Her husband is actually Space Force, and so she said he will be there. And we're actually going to start the day before, having them come and either read to our students or maybe share some information, because our preschool's Monday through Thursday. She happens to have a preschooler, so we want to make sure they're involved. But then we'll have our big assembly, and so she is gathering from each part of the military to come and speak to our kiddos, and they'll be in uniform. So we always try to do something different, so we're excited for that this year. So more information to come. We have our holiday program that we do for our students, and that's where the staff performs for the kids. The kids love that. And I think Miss Pam, my registrar, loves it the most. Christmas is her deal. Let's see, we're planning with our PTCO a family movie night, and we're talking about doing a preschool through 2nd grade in one area of the school, and then having our 3rd through 5th grade doing it in a different part. But when we've had it in the past, we've had it with preschool, and they come in their PJs and bring dinner. It's a lot of fun. So we're planning that. And then, of course, our kindergarten open house and our preschool open house that we'll be having. So this is just a picture from the 5th grade community challenge. It's the 5th grade throughout our district, and it's a lot of teamwork and team building activities directed from the high school kids. They come and direct all of those activities, but it's to help our 5th graders get to know each other before they go over to EMS. It's a wonderful activity. And this is the parade that we got ready for. So that top picture there, that is a picture of our float, and our it's our ambassadors, our 4th and 5th grade students who are our ambassadors, similar to student council. And we have Miss Pam in the picture and Miss Cristino, and they are our sponsors. And so they all worked on the float together, our 5th graders, and then they all got to be part of it. They were so excited that day. And then some 4th graders, they were taking a picture, and so I told their teacher, Miss Crossland, I said, oh, well, you've got to send that to me. So, of course. So, yeah, we love the parade. We have a blast there. So thank you, Mr. McClendon, because they really enjoy that. Let's see. So some Singing Hills parent support activities. You know, we have an active parent community, which I'm blessed to have all the parents that we have. We have our PTCO, which is our Parent Teacher Community Organization. Our SAC, which is our School Accountability Committee. Our volunteers that come and help out, it's parents and community members. I have a former teacher that I worked at Pine Lane with years and years ago. Her name is Eileen Enterline, and she lives in the community. She helps with that the little church. It's over, oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it, but it's off of Flintwood there. But anyway, she called me up one time, oh, Regina, you're over there. I'd love to come and volunteer. So it's nice to have people come over and volunteer, community members and families. And then, of course, our watchdogs, our dads of great students that come and help out. The kids always enjoy that. And then this is the fence. And so actually, Mike Newton was a part of this. We had our accountability committee meeting, and one of them, it's been a lot about safety. So we've had Mike come and talk with us about what can we do. And one of the things that were suggested was to do a fence where our crosswalk is. And so we have a little median there, but parents and kids would just cross wherever they wanted, and it just wasn't safe. So the suggestion was doing a fence, and Mike was one of the key point people to get that going for us. And so we now have a fence, and we only have one area where you can cross and use the crosswalk to come in and out of the school, and we haven't had anyone climb it yet. So we're doing well so far. Staff development, so we've been working CKLA, I mentioned earlier. iReady Math is new for our school. Running Creek, as I said, did it last year, so we jumped on the bandwagon and joined them. Well, we've been doing iReady assessments in reading and math, learning targets, depth and complexity, Schoology, UCCI, which stands for Unified Curriculum, Classroom and Instruction, and Teaching Strategies Gold, which is an assessment used by our preschool and kindergarten teachers. And so we were fortunate to work with Running Creek this year on our September 22nd Staff Development Day, and Running Creek hosted. And so we had breakfast and lunch there, and the teachers got together, and it was just so nice to have them together. I wasn't able to be there that day because I was a little under the weather, and I just applaud Michael. He just did a wonderful job setting everything up. Michael Seafried, principal at Running Creek, he just did a great job getting everything organized for our Staff Development Day for both of our staffs. So it was a very successful day. Some of our student activities are ambassadors. They're 4th and 5th grade students. We have our art club, which are 4th and 5th grade students. We have an end of the year 5th grade activity. Last year we did a sleepover. In the past they've had dances, field trips. The sleepover was a lot of fun. The dads that were there, we have moms and dads that help supervise. The dads went to the food truck that's right next door, and so as the kids were outside kind of playing and get their energy out before we went in, they were sitting there saying, oh, this is really, it's a Mexican food, Italian food, it's really good. But the dads were all over that. We had the boys all sleep in the library, the girls all slept in the classrooms, so that was a lot of fun. We have Lego League. It's 4th and 5th grade in the fall and 2nd and 3rd in the spring. Susan McMullen and Ashley Johnson are our sponsors for Lego League. Our kiddos also participate in activities throughout the year, and I can't think of the word. the Lego League competitions. There we go, competitions that they are part of. I looked at you, Jamie, because I said, Jamie's going to have that word for me. And then Mini Cardinals Clinic, and so that's the little cheerleaders, and Amber Rusk is one of the sponsors over at the high school of the Palm Group, and so she has the Mini Cardinals Clinic, and so the little ones perform. So that is Art Club this year, and some of our kids. It has already started, as well as Lego League has started, and they've already had a little camp, the Mini Cards camp. And then I wanted to just share 3 celebrations out of many that we have, but I want to share our CMAS scores. I'm so proud of our Singing Hill staff and students. Our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, the percentage of students that met or exceeded the expectations in English language arts and math were above the state percentages. And this is the 3rd year in a row that we have been, so I'm just so proud of everybody. They do a great job. Our school performance framework, this year we earned 82.4 points out of 100, and we are on performance plan. And we went up from last year. We were 77.7 points also on performance plan. So we are seeing some growth, but definitely some successes. So yeah, we're real proud of what we do there. This is a new playground that we have, and this one is thanks to Tricia Young. She is my kids club and preschool director. She is amazing at finding money and grants and applying for them and getting them. So she got our preschool playground a couple of years ago, and just over the summer, she got this playground for us, and of course, with the help of Mark Oser and our custodian staff of Todd, Karen, and Nick, and I'm sure other people in the district that came to help, they got this playground up and running, and they happened to do this in June. Well, we were still there, and so the adults went to play on the playground because, you know, we got to have a little bit of fun. So that was a big success. She also, Trish, there's a bike path on our preschool playground that she added this year, a shade structure that was added on our K-5 playground this year. Let's see, she got some water fountains, the ones where you just put the water bottle and it automatically comes in. We had 2 in our school. She has now outfitted our school with the rest of them, so we're just waiting for the install of that. And then some preschool outdoor classrooms. So Trish has been just amazing at getting grants and applying and getting the money, and she's just gotten a lot of money for us and helped out our kids. And then my last celebration is Mr. Jacob Stephen. He is a senior at EHS, but he is a former Singing Hills Elementary student, and he is working towards his Eagle Scout. And so he came to us beginning of August and said, I'm thinking of a project. What do you think about I do some flower beds here and fill them with flowers? And so, of course, we said yes to him because he'll always be our student. Even though he's older, he'll always be one of ours. But anyway, so this was part of his process for his Eagle Scout. And he did this, and so I said, well, we have to take a picture of you. And even though I know he didn't want to, he kindly did it. So that was our last celebration that I did want to share with you about our school.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, thank you so much. Any questions?
If I can just chime in and say how lucky we are to have Regina. Obviously, this year we've tried to do a lot of alignment between our schools, and certainly with Regina being our experienced principal here and having a new principal at Running Creek, just really appreciate her leadership and helping us align our efforts and to work together. Having our elementary schools actually train together is an amazing opportunity, and obviously we appreciate that. So thank you, Regina, for all your hard work. So.
Thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we clone her?
Yeah, we can try to clone her.
We can try. Can we have a science class that works on that?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. So next up, we have the superintendent report.
Yeah, so because we met last week, I can tell you I'll be very short tonight. Homecoming week last week was, I think, a tremendous success. We had lots of activities for our high school kids, and then obviously we get all of our kids involved towards the end of the week with our homecoming parade. It was a great experience, my first parade to actually watch in the district, and definitely just saw such a huge level of community support. So we appreciate that to all of our community members. I was walking down worried about all the garbage, and I know the town has a crew that comes through and cleans up after us, but again, I know our community is just super supportive. We did have our homecoming game on Friday night, and unfortunately we were not successful in winning that game, so we are 4-1. But you know, our kids had so much to do last week. I think our players were probably exhausted. So anyways, we look forward to their next game and continuing their winning record despite Friday. Did have a superintendent forum last week at Singing Hills and had 4 members, one who's in the audience tonight, and so it was great. The first one we had 2, so we doubled in size. So you know, if we can continue to double in size, that'll be great. Again, for those who might be watching the board meeting, just know that really encourage people to come and share your thoughts, your ideas, your concerns. That's how we grow. That's how we get better as a district. So really appreciate those who came out and engaged in that dialogue. The next one is November 1st at Elizabeth Middle School. So for, again, anyone watching who's missed those opportunities, we'd love to see you November 1st at Elizabeth Middle School. Next week is fall break, so our teachers are, I'm sure, looking forward to a break and a chance to catch their breath. It's been a busy first quarter, and just want to thank all of our teachers for the hard work in getting this year off to a great start. And one last thing, we did send out last week a calendar survey. Our DAC, Chrissy Howell, who is our chair of our DAC, is here tonight. We did send out a parent survey and a staff survey to get feedback on calendar features so that our DAC can fulfill their responsibility and their charge from you to bring you a calendar in December that you can adopt for the next 2 years. So we want to encourage our families and our staff to continue to respond to that. We have about 144 families so far that have responded, about 88 staff members. So we're going to send a reminder this week and hope that we continue to get some additional feedback. So with that, I think that's my update for tonight.
Okay. Well, board member reports, I'll kick it off. So last week was my first homecoming as well. And I must say there was a lot of creativity. I sensed a theme with the cards and the dice.
Vegas.
Vegas, yes. But it was nice to see the creativity of the floats that the students put together. So that was a lot of fun.
I agree. The parade was great. My kids came home with way too much candy.
More candy than Halloween, I'm
yeah.
sure.
Right. And I got to go to part of the football game, and unfortunately we did lose, but it was really cold.
Yes, it was. It's a cold one.
I'm sure the players enjoyed it, though.
Yes.
It was football weather, right?
Yeah.
Well, I went to the parade also, and it was very, very cool. It was my first time, and it was very cool to see all of the excitement around that, so it was very cool. We also did have our first curriculum review committee meeting last week, and it was a very good meeting. Bill has done so much work to prepare for that. Our team that we have is very dedicated, and I'm very excited to be working with all of them. I think we got a realization of the scope of what that is going to entail, and I think it's bigger than all of us realized. It is not going to be a zip, we're done by December thing. So we know that, and we know what to expect, and we have a plan, and we'll be refining it as we go forward, but it was a really good start, so.
And I just want to say the parade was fantastic. The amount of floats I was overwhelmed by. I didn't realize there was that many people that wanted to participate, or kids. But our community is just fantastic, and I think we're just really heading in a great direction. Things are just falling into place. So I'm very excited for this next year coming up.
One thing I can top it off is I stopped by Running Creek, and because I heard in the Good News Bulletin about the
Playground.
Yeah, about the playground, so I stopped by, and It's nice. I'd like to thank Kristen for all of her hard work. So if she's out there listening, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up, we have public comments. I think we have one person, okay. Well, I will still make my statement, so bear with me, people. So public comment provides the opportunity for any resident of the district or a parent of a student in our district to present the Board of Education with brief comments or to pose questions for consideration or follow-up. Each person is asked to focus their remarks to 3 minutes. These boundaries are designed to help keep the meeting focused and should in no way limit conversations beyond this board meeting. A couple of guidelines regarding public comment. This is a formal business meeting and we require formal, respectful discourse. And the board will not entertain slander, name-calling, or public defamation of any individual, and we ask that you please focus on the issues and not individuals. So, tonight we have Chrissy Howell, who is going to speak to the group regarding parental rights.
I'm here as a parent today, so just to clarify on that. This is my first time speaking in a public setting, so bear with me as I struggle through. But thank you for having me up here and giving me this opportunity to speak with everybody. I am a parent of 4 and have had children in school for 30+ years in multiple districts. They range in age from 35 all the way down to age 13. I have over time witnessed the taking away of parents' voice and our ability to advocate for curriculum and learning pathways that suit our child's specific needs. Basically, the one-size-fits-all road, which does not benefit or work for every child. Although we as parents already have rights within the school district, this new policy reinforces, clarifies many areas, and expands on areas where needed. I am personally impressed that our board, in conjunction with parent input, has heard us and are taking steps to improve the overall quality and experience within the school district. This policy meshes very well with the profile of a graduate curriculum path starting in our schools from K through 12. We will be better informed as to where our child places in readiness and will know at an earlier stage if intervention, be it additional help, alternative learning, or need for special services is needed. The #1 complaint of parents with children who have difficulties with their children in school is that they're unaware, or in some cases they're desperately trying to help their child and are met with a brick wall. In how much trouble that student is, they don't know typically until the end of a quarter or a semester, or even as far as the end of the school year, at which point that child is critically behind. We are now given more opportunity as parents in communication with teachers to advocate for solutions at an earlier stage. This individualized step will continue into the next grade level and school, giving our kids the best opportunities for success as they move into adulthood and into the world. I am especially grateful to know that services, questioning, or individualized instruction will allow parents to be present as much as they deem necessary for their child. In my opinion, these actions are necessary and appreciated. I applaud the insight and time spent to provide and clarify responsibilities for the school, teachers, and parents, while still continuing to find solutions for infrastructure and facilities upgrade, as has been noted in one of our emails from Mr. Snowberger on August 24th. Is that my minutes? I'm sorry. I went over. May I continue, or do I need to stop?
I think we can. We have.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody waiting.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't talk fast enough.
Okay.
But anyhow, that was all noted in an email from Mr. Snowberger, our superintendent. teacher retention, pay, additional staff, safety for our students, health and safety from outside threats, and including utilizing steps to relieve the stress from the lack of certified substitute teachers that is a nationwide impact on our schools and teachers. I want to say shame on anyone who doesn't believe these critical ingredients in our schools is needed and deemed a waste of time and resources. As educators and parents, they should be grateful that this board is giving this opportunity to our future and to our children. And that was the last of what I had to say. So thank you all very much for
Thank you,
allowing me that
Chrissy.
extra little bit, and I appreciate everybody's ear.
Thank you, Chrissy.
Okay, next up, we have consent agenda. So can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda items, including 9.1 through 9.4 as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I could real quickly address, this is a long list of extra duty pay. Mr. Waller's been a part of our Teacher Advisory Council, and that's been a heavy part of our conversation is the practice in the district has been over the years to add additional pay, trying to retain people in a system that hasn't had an effective compensation system. And so there are a lot of those that are trying to recognize above and beyond what they're hired for, recognizing that additional work. And while it's lengthy, we feel like it's appropriate based on the fact that staff have entered the year expecting that. Many of our staff actually budgeted around those expectations, and so we've chosen to honor those this year while we work on the compensation system, which should address those into the salary scale. So we're hopeful that next year that you won't have a list to the degree that you have in front of you tonight. But we appreciate your understanding and allowing us to at least honor those commitments that teachers began the year expecting this year. So.
Okay, thanks. Okay, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
Director Waller?
Aye.
Okay. Motion to approve the consent agenda, including 9.1 through 9.4 as presented, has been approved. Next up, we have discussion. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the waiver for substitute teachers in the Elizabeth School District.
So I have just asked that we keep this on our agenda, and it is restating lots of things, but wanting to make sure our community is very clear on this. What we are seeking is a waiver that would allow us to hire highly qualified substitutes that do not have state certification. Those are people like private school teachers who have retired, have taught for many years, and yet paying the state to secure a substitute license is something that they're choosing not to do, but they're willing to sub for us. This is not hiring just anyone off the street to say, here, go sub, but hiring highly qualified individuals who are trained and capable of substituting. Currently, we're restricted to only those who have gone through the rigmarole of applying for their substitute license, and we appreciate all of those who have done so. But this will open up some additional substitutes that in a pinch we can certainly utilize. We will always try to hire a licensed substitute first, but once we are able to get this waiver approved by the board and then approved by the State Board of Education, we will then be able to fall back on those other highly qualified individuals. So again, just wanting to make sure our community watching understands that our desire is certainly to continue to expand those resources so we keep the pressure off of our teachers who often have to do double duty and cover for someone else because we can't find a substitute. So happy to address anyone's question in the community. Certainly reach out to me as we work through this. It is advertised in the paper. For 4 weeks, a public notice had to be placed. That will happen between now and your November meeting, and at your November meeting we will bring you the formal resolution, at which time we will have met all of the requirements for you to approve a resolution.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, So next up, we have a discussion item. We have 11.1 IKF graduation requirements.
It's actually an action item.
Action item, I'm sorry,
Mistake
typo.
Mistake on our, sorry.
That's
I
okay.
apologize for that.
So can I get a motion to adopt the revised policy IKF graduation requirements as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
So this is the revised policy we looked at last week. It is simply expanded some options for our high school to consider. These were recommendations from our high school social studies department and administration. And it achieves our desire to ensure that our students graduate with a clear understanding of government, our history, and geography here in the United States. So I appreciate the board's leadership on this and allowing our staff to weigh in and make some adjustments. So.
And again, as we talked about last time, if we have students who aren't good test takers, we will do everything we can to work with them to make sure that they can demonstrate competency.
Yep.
Okay.
We've added a capstone. We've added the ability of those assessments being broken down based upon the course that students are taking. All of those, I think, were great recommendations from our staff. So we will ensure that every student, though, beginning in 2025, which is next graduating class, next year's graduating class, will have demonstrated these competencies before they walk across the stage. And I think we'll be doing our community and certainly our state and nation a good service. So thank you.
Well, and I'd just like to add that I really would like to extend appreciation and thanks to our teachers who collaborated with Dan and collaborated together to figure out how to best implement this to make it successful.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay. All right. So are we ready to do a roll call?
Yep.
Okay. Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, IKF graduation requirements. The motion to adopt the policy has been approved. Next up, we have JKA, use of physical intervention and restraint. Can I get a motion to adopt revised policy JKA, use of physical intervention and restraint as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Again, this policy just is clarifying some legal requirements in our district as to parent notification, length of time that a restraint might be conducted, and what that leads to with regard to notifying parents and engaging families. I appreciate Mary's catching some language in the policy last week that was conflicting, and so we've corrected that in the policy you have before you.
Yes, thank you, Mary. All right, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan.
Aye.
Director Olson.
Aye.
Director Powell.
Aye.
Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, the motion to adopt revised policy JKA, use of physical intervention and restraint as presented has been approved. Next up, we have KBB, Parents' Rights and Responsibilities. Can I get a motion for the board to adopt policy KBB, Parents' Rights and Responsibilities, with the current changes as presented?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
So we did incorporate a couple of updates that one of our parents, who's here tonight, recommended at our last meeting. There were 3 that were brought forward. One was a grammatical error, so thank you for catching that. There was also one, we had stated the parents are responsible to ensure their students, and the question was, okay, can you make your students do it, or can you support them in making it? So we've changed the language for your consideration to say parents are responsible to help support their student when it comes to completing homework and should support the school's recommendations for tutoring or other academic interventions. Felt like that was a great suggestion. There was one more around SAFE, and we spent some time as a staff really trying to process, and short of adding a detailed definition, which probably would be not inclusive of everything it should be, we have decided that we probably should just move forward with safe conditions, and obviously that would lead to some interpretation on behalf of parents who might read that, but I think safe is probably, there's a general understanding of what safe is. So certainly, unless the board wants to suggest any additional language, that was one we really struggled with, short of making it a book. actually finding a way to clarify that. So we felt like those recommendations were helpful, and they're included in your packet for consideration tonight.
Okay. All right. I would like to say thank you. Thank you for your input. It was well received. Thank you and appreciate it. All right. Can we get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
Director Waller?
Aye.
Okay, the motion to approve KBB, Parent Rights and Responsibilities, has been approved. Next up, we have final appointment of the DAC membership. So can I get a motion for the board to approve the final appointment of DAC members?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
So this, you appointed parents and community members. We asked for nominations from the district on on teachers. We set out to have 3 teachers. We did not get a nomination from the high school, so we certainly are open. We still have 1 additional slot that would keep us in balance of 1 more non-staff members to staff members. So you'll notice that EHS teacher is open. We do have the teachers who have been recommended from our school district. We only have 1 elementary, so we do have a teacher from Singing Hills. One of the parents, however, that you appointed actually became a teacher at the school. So now Running Creek does, in essence, have a parent representative who also is a teacher at their school. So actually worked out quite well, not something we were planning, but it worked out well. The administrative role will continue to be shared by principals. So principals felt like it was a great opportunity for them to rotate, and that way each principal could have that perspective from DAC and provide updates on their particular schools. So principals, 1 principal each meeting would have a voting seat, and they've actually signed up for each of those meetings. So we're asking you to approve officially all members of DAC. This is your committee, and so this is your committee to approve. So.
Quick question, are we going to still pursue an RCE teacher, even though we've kind of got 1 that's in the dual role?
We could not have an RCE teacher and an Elizabeth High School teacher.
Oh, I see.
Because it would throw us into equal staff and non-staff, and DAC does require by statute that there be one more non-staff. It's got to be a 50 plus 1% balance. So at this point, our Teacher Advisory Council has reached out to see if there is a high school teacher that would be interested. That person we'd have to bring back to you, so we can't just automatically place someone. Obviously they can attend, and we'd bring their name back to you for approval if we find a volunteer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan?
Aye.
Director Olson?
Aye.
Director Powell?
Aye.
And Director Waller?
Aye.
The only thing I'll add, which I should have before then, is Chrissy Howell is our chair. Kristen Sanborn accepted the vice chair role, and Courtney Bowling is our secretary before our DAC. And so they'll be presenting to you in December, their mid-year update, and then again at the end of the year. So.
Okay. So the motion to approve the final appointment of DAC members has been approved. Next up, we have board planning and new business. So it looks like our next board meeting is going to be a working session. It's going to be held on October 23rd, 2023, here in the district office boardroom. One thing I would like to put a reminder out about is we have an upcoming informal meet and greet with board members on October 25th from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Independence Clubhouse. So it'd be nice to have some folks come and engage with board members. Bring your concerns, bring your questions, bring your ideas about what you want to see in the district. Anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
We did send to all of you the coffees that you had volunteered for. If you can have more than 2, we've tried to stick to 2 just because of this You
Posting
can't
it.
have more than
Yeah.
3. But if there is a meeting that more than 2 of you want to attend, you just need to let Jamie know, and she can post it. It doesn't hurt to post.
Mhm.
But definitely if there's only 2, there's no need.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
okay.
Great. All right. If there's nothing left to add, then I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting at 6:51 p.m.
Wow, that was a fast one.
Wow.
Zero.